Minister English, thank you for coming into the House today. The issue on the table is the exclusion of 18, 19 and 20-year-olds from participating in the Community Employment Scheme, or the CE scheme for short. It is generally accepted that government should reward the behaviour we want to encourage in our citizens, and being an active citizen in our economy is one we should champion. While this has been the case for years, the events of Budget 2023 led me to think about what message the government is trying to achieve through the CE scheme. Budget 23 saw a €5 increase in the CE top-up payment from €22.50 to €27.50 from January 2023. Meanwhile, those in receipt of a weekly job seekers payment receive an increase of €12 per week. The CE scheme is designed to help people who are long-term unemployed or otherwise disadvantaged to get back to work by offering part-time or temporary placements in jobs based within local communities. Participants can take up other part-time work during the CE placement. The work is community-based. The training provided through CE is delivered with a quality assurance framework. When a person's CE placement ends, the person is encouraged to seek a job elsewhere using the skills, experience and training gained while participating in the CE scheme. The duration of a CE scheme placement is for 12 months, with some exceptions. The general qualifying age for CE is 21 years. There is exceptions to this, of course. The CE drug rehabilitation programmes are available for persons aged 18 or over who are in recovery or referred for a rehabilitation place on a CE. The Traveller and Roma community, aged 18 or over, ex-offenders aged 18 or over are referred by the following agencies: the Probation Service, the Linkage Service, the Gate Service and the Resettlement Service, and the Irish Prison Service. Refugees aged 18 or over, as authenticated by the Department of Justice and Equality, who have a valid work permit or GNIB with stamp 4, in receipt of any DSP payment for any length of time, can qualify for a CE. So I just want to ask the Minister, can you advise if the current influx of refugees over the age of 18 will be in a position to take up the CE scheme? This, after all, would encourage social integration of refugees within communities. The current social welfare payment for 18-year-olds is €117.70. This payment will increase to €129.70 in January 2023. There's approximately 20,000 people under the age of 25 are getting job seekers allowance at the end of September 2022. Why are we saying then to an 18 or 19 or 20-year-old who are not in education, employment or training, you can't avail of our work support scheme, all you can do is collect your dole money? It's not empowering to our young people to reward them for doing nothing. It's lazy governance, and as a government we must do better for our teens and for our young people. You'll never get a career or an opportunity by lying in bed all day, and we should not reward it either. The take-up of CE and TUS programmes is at an all-time low, Minister, so surely these programmes should be opened up for that age cohort as a matter of urgency. Thank you.
Thanks, Keogan, and again I want to thank Senator Keogan for raising this issue here today, and I'm here on behalf of Minister Heather Humphreys, who couldn't make the debate, and I'm happy to contribute on her behalf. First of all, at the outset I want to acknowledge the excellent work that is done on the full range of schemes, Community Employment TUS and the Rural Social Scheme, supported by the Department, and the contribution of these schemes and their workers make to communities across the country, and we can see that in every county, and certainly in our own county of Meath, quite a high participation across the schemes as well. Currently, there are over 26,000 participants and 1,635 supervisors employed on the three main schemes. Overall, these schemes have a budget allocation of €540 million in 2022. Work schemes such as Community Employment and TUS are positive initiatives that enable the long-term unemployed to make a positive contribution to their communities while upskilling themselves for prospective future employment. And it's very well recognised of the role they play in our communities right across the country as well. At present, there are over 18,500 places supported on the community employment, with a budget of over €375 million available to support the scheme in 2022. Minister Humphreys, Minister Ryan and myself, Minister Ryan, have announced reforms to community employment on the 21st of December last, and again on the 29th of June this year. These changes were introduced to improve the operation of these employment support schemes and maintain vital services within our communities. These changes include a provision to allow community employment participants who reach 60 years of age to remain on the scheme until they reach state pension age. Reducing the age from 62 to 60 to allow participants to remain on the community employment until they reach state pension age was considered on the basis that this cohort of participants are least likely to progress to employment in the open labour market, and also as part of a kind of a consultation based on a number of visits by Minister Humphreys, Minister Bryan, and even myself around to the various community enterprise offices, community employment offices and their supervisors and managers, and engagement over a long period of time, and a lot of debates in both houses here in the Rocklands as well. A lot of discussion around this over the last couple of years, because we can all see the value to our communities with these schemes, but also the number of people who might be in their 60s who wanted to stay in these schemes and not have to go back into the other work environment as well. There are currently 27% of community employment participants between the ages of 60 and 66, and almost half of community employment participants are aged over 55. Community employment was originally only open to participants over the age of 25 until a change was introduced by the Department of Social Protection back in 2017, which reduced the eligible age for participation to where it is today at 21. However, community employment is already available to those in receipt of disability-related payments, and is also available to members of the Traveller and Roma community, refugees, ex-offenders and inhabitants of offshore islands from the age of 18. All drugs rehabilitation places are available to persons aged 18 years or over who are in recovery and referred for a rehabilitation place on community employment. While community employment is not open to all customers between the ages of 18 and 21, there are a wide range of supports in the Department of Social Protection available to this cohort of young people. And it's certainly not the case that there's no support or they're left to their own devices. That's not the case at all. These supports include TUIS, Work Placement Experience Programme and Job Plus, along with a broad range of education and training support. And I would ask any young person in this age cohort to engage directly with social protection and directly with the intro offices, because there's a team there of caseworkers ready to work with them and assist them on a journey back to work, or onto a training course, or onto a Work Placement Experience Programme as well. And I want to be very clear, at every business event I'm at on behalf of our department, at every business event, I stress the importance of giving young people a chance through these schemes, and that there are supports there to assist the person, the future employee, as well as the employer. And there's very strong subsidies there for both sides to make it really worthwhile for everybody to engage through these supports, no matter what age you are, and to follow the Pathways to Work programme that's set out in that document as well. TUIS, as an example, is an employment support scheme similar to community employment, and as I've already mentioned, is open to those between the ages of 18 and 21. It's worth looking at the participants in that scheme to give you some background and research into the call for lowering the age of CE schemes. On TUIS, the level of participation for 18 to 21-year-olds is just over 3%, and for 22-25-year-olds, it's just over 6%. So it's very clear. You're asking us to open up a scheme where there doesn't seem to be a great demand for those schemes, because they avail of the other support schemes, generally the Work Placement Experience Programme. The low take-up figures on TUIS indicates that such an employment support scheme is not a preferred option for this age group. This, coupled with the range of other educational training and work placements available to this age group, indicates that extending community employment to all customers in this age group would not make an appreciable difference to participation rates. The live register figures show that 63% of long-term unemployed job seekers are between the ages of 25 and 54. Community employment placements are an ideal opportunity to provide these older potential participants with relevant work experience and training in order to help them to move closer to open labour market employment. And again, I want to, at this, if I can, Chair, to say every business owner I talk to tell me they cannot find enough people to work in their business. And there are a lot of jobs out there that are on offer. There's a lot of support to help anybody of any age to avail of those jobs, to go on training programmes, upskilling programmes, or whatever it takes. And we'd love to be able to join the dots for any person, be they 18, 19, 20, 21, through the various supports that are there. And I would ask anybody to engage with their caseworker through the intro offices, and likewise the businesses who have those gaps as well. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Minister. But why have we got almost 20,000 people under the age of 25 unemployed at this moment in time throughout the country? Can they not avail of the TUIS programmes, the job path programmes, the work placement programmes? Yeah, of course they can. But why are we encouraging them? Why are we giving them more money with the budget? Why are you giving them an extra €12 on the budget? If this is what you're proposing, they're not getting. You're not encouraging them to work. You're giving them an extra €12 per week to stay in unemployment, to stay as a job seeker, when we should be actually encouraging them to get on these programmes. In fact, actually, we should be decreasing their payment the longer they're actually on job seekers' allowance. So I would like to live in a society where everybody participates, where everybody participates in every person that is able to do so. And even there's people that of all abilities, and those that may have some disabilities, they too want to participate. So we need a society where we're able to encourage people to work. And if there's more that can be done to encourage this cohort to work, I would really, really welcome it. Minister, thank you.
Again, Chair, just to wrap up again, I want to at this point thank Senator Keogan for raising this matter for discussion. And I would necessarily agree that we want to encourage anybody and people who are able to work to go to work if at all possible. And that's why every effort is made by this government, and very clearly by the Taoiseach and our Department of Enterprise, Trade and Employment, to make the case that work always pays and work should always pay. And that's why a lot of work of the government for the last 2.5 years has been around strengthening paying conditions, strengthening the work environment. The protections are there. The 6th pay legislation coming in, auto enrolment, minimum wage going up by 80 cents as well. So every effort has been made to make sure that work is worth your while going to work. And I would say in absolutely the majority of cases it absolutely is. And there are a range of supports there that are available to that cohort of people to be able to take up that work and to get that training and skills as well. So we constantly work to encourage people to take up that work. There are extra case workers assigned on the pathways to work with anybody who is newly unemployed or long-term unemployed to find their way back into work and to avail of these supports and to join up those dots. And I would say the job placement programme is a really, really useful programme to encourage anybody to get used to a work environment again and get close to a job. And we would try to encourage anybody to take up these schemes because everyone benefits. Community, the business, the person themselves, their family, everyone generally benefits when someone's in work as well. In relation to the €12 payments, the response in this budget is a cost of living initiative to recognise anybody that's on fixed income, regardless of the reasons, are under extreme pressure when it comes to paying their bills. Likewise, anybody that's going to work is also under pressure, and that's why we made changes to the tax system and made changes to work and family payments and other payments as well. Again, recognising there's a cost of living pressure, which is different to the argument about who can avail of what scheme in normal times as well. So that's what this response is about. But naturally, Pathways to Work is a document that tries to focus our efforts to anybody who could be at work, who's not at work, to encourage them back into work and make it easier for them, because everybody's got their own individual story. And our caseworkers understand that. And the range of schemes here allow that journey to happen at different pace for different people as well. But it's something I would encourage anybody to take up the opportunity to get back to work through education, through training, through placement, through apprenticeship, through training. A range of initiatives there. That's something that Heather Humphreys is very much behind in driving. And it's always our department, along with other key departments of education and enterprise, trade and employment as well. Thanks, Chair.